Hello, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Halo the Master Chief Collection. Got another achievement guide for you today. We're actually getting 25 achievements all in one video, and we're basically just going to get all the skulls and all the terminals in Halo CE. So I've just started a brand new game. We're going to go in order of every skull and terminal in the order that you'll find them, so you can just play along as normal and just follow this guide, and you'll have every single collectible by the end of the video. Okay, so the first one is in the first room as soon as you get control of your character on the level Pillar of Autumn. You just want to turn round, go behind the canisters at the back left hand side of the room, and you'll find the skull just on the floor. These skulls are only visible in the remastered graphics, so make sure you're playing on remastered graphics to grab that. Okay, so not too long after that skull, you're going to come to the bridge where you talk to Keys for the first time. And just on the left as you go in, before you talk to him, the second terminal's flashing red, and that terminal will be the first terminal in the game. So that's all the skulls and terminals on this level. We're going to go straight on to the next level, which is called Halo. So as soon as you start this level, you'll start in the ship. You want to just head right immediately and head over towards the waterfall. And just behind this rock at the bottom of the waterfall, you'll find the second skull. Alright, so not too far into the level, you're going to have fought off 4 or 5 Covenant dropships worth of troops, and you will be given access to the Warthog for the first time. So just follow the path that I'm going in the video. It's basically to the right hand side of the area. It's above the cave entrance that you'll go down in a minute. And if you just follow the path I've got in the video, you'll see that I'm just coming up to this kind of cliff face, but you can drive or walk over here. And if you just go over this little hill here, between these 2 trees, or it might be just behind the second tree actually. Yeah, just behind the second tree there is the third skull. Now I've got one more collectible in this level, so don't end it just yet. I'm going to show you where to get the terminal. Right, so pretty much just after you've found that last skull, you're going to come into this cave that's not really a cave, but it's called a cave, so here we are. You should know where it is. And just before you go over the jump, that's the ramp you usually jump up. Just jump out, head down here to the right, and then left, and in the dead end will be the second terminal in the game. Okay, so now we're on the next level, the Truth and Reconciliation. You're going to fight your way onto the ship. Fight your way through quite a bit of the ship, and you'll come into this open hangar area. It's the biggest open area you've been in so far. There'll be enemies above you and a few enemies coming through the doors. I've left this clip quite long so you can see how I did it. Usually you have to wait for the hunters to come, and they're at the opposite side of the room to where I am now, just ahead of me in this clip here. But I actually just head down there in a minute and go straight through the door. You can miss this one. You can only go through the door when the enemy troops are spawned in. So you're probably going to want to just hang around down here, and I'll show you the exact door I'm on about in just a second when I get there. And that's the door just there. So if I were you, just fight down here, and when the troops spawn in like they just did, you can run in the door and the skull is just there on the floor. Okay, so further on in the level, you'll come to this room that's got a raised platform in the middle, and the terminal is actually on the main computer on the raised platform. This is where you find Keys later on in the game, when he's being mutated. Okay, so that's going to do it for the Truth and Reconciliation. We're now on to the Silent Cartographer. This mission has 2 skulls and 1 terminal. Right, so this is the very start of the mission. You can see I've just got out the Pelican. I'm going to speed up the footage because the walk's quite long, but we're going to walk on top of this rock just here, and the skull is basically where I was just aiming, at the far end of the rock once you're on top of it. So as you can see, I've just made my way up the back of the rock on a small path, and the skull is just here, right at the end. Alright, so next I'm going to show you where the terminal is. You're going to fight your way up a path, or a narrow ravine, and you'll come to this circular structure. There'll be 2 hunters, and just here in the middle will be the terminal. Okay, this one can be a little tricky. You'll get to this narrow hallway, and you'll hear Cortana say something like, "That isn't the map, scan it," when you get to this, and you just want to turn right, and you're going to need to do something called a grenade jump. So you're going to see me throw the grenade down just there, and as I'm in the midair, I also press crouch to tuck my legs in and get up onto the ledge. This will take you a few tries, unless you're an experienced Halo player, which if you are, you've probably already done this. But just watch the clip a few times, watch what I do, and you basically just need to use the explosion of the grenade to push you high enough to get to this one. Okay, so we're on to the next mission. This is Assault on the Control Room. Unfortunately, this is another grenade jump. I don't think it's as hard as the last one, but it is still quite annoying, especially if you're not used to doing grenade jumps. So I think this is the third area you come to that's got like a middle section like this, but this is after the first elevator you go down and you go past the sleeping grunts. The middle room we're in here is slightly different to the rest. And you'll see there I just lined up with the pillar and used a grenade to get onto the pillar and then just jumped normally into the middle to snag this one. Okay, so we're on to the next skull. We're still on the same level. This is a little further on in the game when you go down the first tunnel, and you're going to come to this area that's got a bridge on the left and a turret on the right. And if you just look over the edge, there is a couple of pipes, and on one of them, it's slightly to the right as you come through the big door. You can see the skull is just on the end of the pipe there. Moving on to the last collectible in this level, it's the terminal. We're still on Assault on the Control Room, and you're going to come to this part of the level where you come through a door and there's two banshees parked in front of you. It's the only time in the level you'll have access to a banshee, so you can't miss it. And you just want to follow what I did in the clip there, fly straight down this kind of spine of this building here, whatever you want to call it. And underneath there is some heavy weaponry, but just underneath there to the left is the terminal, and that is the last collectible on this level. Right, so we're on the level 343 Guilty Spark. This is pretty much at the beginning of the level. You're going to fight your way around the swamp and across a large tree trunk, and then you're going to see the door to the facility on the right there. So you just want to run to the left of the door, past the turret, slide down the hill, and the skull is just between these two trees here. Okay, so now we're on the last one for this level. This is the terminal. We're still on 343 Guilty Spark. And right at the end of the level, on the third elevator you ride, and this is also the only elevator that goes up when you stand on it, so you'll definitely know you're in the right place. You're going to want to ride the elevator for a second and jump off onto the top of the door you came out of and grab the terminal. Moving on to my least favourite level in the game, this is the library. This is at the very beginning of the level, the library. And just as you clear out this first set of enemies that are jumping out the pipes and Guilty Spark is waiting for you just there above the door, we're going to need to grenade jump on top of this cube and jump into the right hand tunnel / vent. So I get a really ridiculously lucky grenade jump there, but if it works, it works. Again, if you're not used to grenade jumping, just keep trying. This is at the beginning of the level, so you can just keep restarting. I know they're annoying. Okay, so we're still on the level, the library. This is quite a little bit towards the end of the level. You're going to come through a door that you've had to wait for the robot to open, and you'll notice the blue / green octagonal shape on the roof. And then you just want to jump over these and make your way around to it. You can crouch jump, but you can also jump a bit close to the edge and you can just jump straight up. Just be careful not to fall off, and it's as simple as that. So continuing with the library, this is at the very end of the level. When you fight your way through this door that is just bursting with flood, you'll see the blue beam in the middle of the room, and we're going to head around it to the right hand side. Be careful not to head towards the blue beam, because that can trigger the end of the mission and then you'll have to run the entire thing again to get back here. So don't go too close to the middle of the room, just follow the path I've done, you know, stick to the edges, and as I said, we're heading right through the door here, and follow it all the way around, and you'll see just as we come to the end with the circle on the wall and the blue beam there, the skull is just between these two boxes. Alright, so here we are on 2 Betrayals. Right as you start the level, you just want to run around to the opposite side of the map room and you'll see the blinking terminal. Simple as that, really easy, right at the very start of the level. The next one is a skull, and unfortunately it's at the very end of the level. So here we are towards the very end of the level. We're still on 2 Betrayals, and you're going to fight your way through like a war zone between the Flood and the Covenant, and you're going to see 2 Banshees parked up, and then you're going to fly the Banshee towards the way you actually came from. So you'll recognise this part when you're at it, you really can't miss it. You have to get in the Banshee to get up to the next part of the level. Just make sure you don't actually follow the marker here and end the level by landing on there and heading inside. So you want to fly past the objective just there, and we're going to land on top of the big doorway we came through earlier, and the skull will be just on top, on the middle in the snow. Okay, so we're on the level keys. We've pretty much fought to the end of the level. There's keys up there, all deformed and mutilated, and underneath him, just there, is the terminal and the only collectible on this level. Alright, here we are, last level. So we're on the level the Maw, the last level in the game. We've got 1 terminal and 1 skull left to get. You'll get to this room where you have to climb a ladder, and you'll see the bridge and stuff in the middle. Just through the door here is the terminal. Okay, so here we are on the Warthog section of the Maw. This is about halfway through. This is the first time you hear Cortana say that you should be getting picked up, but then you have to abort. There's not another bridge like this in this area, so you should know where we are. And as you can see, I've just parked the Warthog up, jumped on top of it, and the skull is just on there. So that's the direction we came from. So as you come into this area, the skull will be on your right on the far side of the bridge, which is exactly where I'm stood now. And if you followed the guide fully, that will be your last skull, and we'll have just done the last terminal in the bit before, so you should have 25 achievements, including 1 for each skull, each terminal, and then 1 for collecting all of them. So 1 for doing all terminals, 1 for doing all skulls. So that's going to do it for this video. Drop me a like if it helped. Please consider subscribing if achievement hunting's something you're interested in. Recently been looking at the statistics on my videos, and I'm only doing these for fun, but I've realised that only 60% of people are actually subscribed. So some of my videos recently have been getting like 50 views, which is like insane to me. I know it's only 50, but that never happens here. So if you are a regular, or if you've watched a couple of my guides and you think they're okay, please subscribe if it's something you're interested in. It takes 2 seconds. I'm not going to bore you with any more of that anyway. Just subscribe if you think the content's good. It should speak for itself. So yeah, thanks for stopping by, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.